Today we're talking about Sasquatches, from a family of Bigfoot spotted in the Blue Mountains of Washington to possible skunk ape sightings. Join us as we take a look at 7 real Bigfoot sightings that'll make you a believer. And today I want to give a huge shout out to the Pennsylvania Sasquatch research team for helping out with this list. This is some striking footage captured by cryptozoologist Paul Freeman in 1994. While walking in the Blue Mountains of Washington, Freeman discovered some unusual animal tracks. He noticed they were heading in 2 directions, trailing up and down a particular glade on the mountain. This is what he captured on camera. In the footage, you can see a bipedal, ape-like creature walking through the woods. It's covered in black fur and moves with a lumbering gait. The creature looks strong with big arms and a wide back. Freeman pants heavily as he tries to track the animal.
Get better picture. What a doggone thing went across that up there.
At one point it looks as though he stumbled upon a family of Sasquatches, as there's multiple tracks heading in all directions. Over the years, Freeman claimed he encountered Bigfoot several times while walking through dense woodland in Washington. He even made a plaster cast of footprints he found that contained dermal ridges. The casts were so convincing that some anthropologists considered them as evidence to support the existence of Bigfoot. The 1994 footage is considered by many to be genuine and one of the most compelling pieces of evidence ever recorded. Others, however, think Freeman was nothing but a hoaxer looking for fame and fortune. In Carbondale, Pennsylvania, locals have reported sightings of a strange creature lurking in the woods. They say it's a white Bigfoot 6 to 7 feet tall with shaggy fur covering its entire body. Residents often hear strange noises too, low groans and rustling in the trees. In 2008, this video surfaced and quickly went viral. It was filmed by a man who heard noises coming from his yard that backs onto woodland. In the clip, you can see a very strange looking creature. It pauses for a split second, then darts off into the darkness. It has deep black eyes, a long cone-shaped head, and is covered in white fur. Analysts have noted that it would be difficult to fake. The figure is unusually tall and has gigantic proportions. It moves quickly despite its large frame. The face contorts and reacts, which wouldn't happen if it was simply a mask. It's worth noting that Carbondale is the site for the first underground mine in the US. It's a vast network of deep, dark tunnels. Many believe it's possible that this creature lives deep in the mines and only surfaces to go hunting. This footage was captured on Independence Day 2010 in an unknown location. In the clip, you can see a Sasquatch-like creature walking through the woods. It has the proportions of a gorilla but walks freely on 2 feet. It's clearly startled by the cameraman as it runs behind a rock. Suddenly it reappears holding its young in its arms. The creature keeps a close eye on the intruding cameraman as it scrambles to protect its baby. Viewers have noted the strange proportions and unusual movements of its legs, which would be difficult to hoax. And unlike other Bigfoot sightings, the footage is very clear too. Unfortunately, the cameraman has never come forward, nor has the location ever been revealed, which makes it difficult to make further comment on the authenticity of the video. In 2014, a couple in Spartansburg, Pennsylvania claimed they encountered a Bigfoot while walking through the forest. Donald Slovey and Amanda Jamar say they heard strange noises like rustling and branches snapping in the distance. Allegedly, they spotted a tall bipedal creature pacing back and forth among the trees. Jamar took out her phone and began filming. In the footage, we can see a tall brown animal walking upright through the woods. It paces back and forth, alerted to the presence of the couple. Sadly, the camera is just too far away from the creature to make any definitive comment. It's quite possible that this could just be a person wearing an ape suit. The footage is very grainy and distant. Analysts have noted that while the couple say they were together while filming, you don't ever hear or see Slovey at all. You can hear Jamar whispering and asking questions, but Slovey never responds, which makes some people think that it's just Slovey in the distance walking around in a homemade Sasquatch suit. Others, however, have defended the footage, saying that the creature's movements are very animal-like. The pacing back and forth and assessment of danger are all very similar to a gorilla's behaviour. Love to get your opinion on this clip in the comments section below. Released in January 2015, this startling footage, shot in Lettuce Lake Park, Tampa, Florida, shows a bipedal, ape-like creature walking through the swamp. The man who captured the footage, known only as Matt M, was canoeing through the swamp when he noticed something strange. He initially thought he had spotted a bear and began filming, but when he later asked a park ranger about bears in the area, they said they tend to stay away from swampy areas. If you take a closer look, it appears to have much longer arms than a bear and walks comfortably on its hind legs. Many say a hominid cryptid creature known as a skunk ape roams the Florida area. It gets its name from the foul-smelling odour that it reportedly emanates. Numerous witnesses throughout Florida have reported seeing a big, hairy, ape-like creature that runs on two legs. Could this be the skunk ape? These two short clips were filmed in the Provo Canyon region in Utah. The first clip is very brief but shows a very large bipedal creature walking among the brush. The Bigfoot-like animal sits by a tree for a second, then seems to pick up a rock and throw it through the air. Sasquatch enthusiasts love this clip, as it's the first time anyone has captured a creature like this throwing an object. The second clip was filmed by BYU students who had been camping near Squaw Peak. One of the campers noticed a strange black beast lurking on the ridge of the hill and started filming with their phone. The footage is a little blurry and unstable, but does capture something unusual. The strange creature is obscured by branches, so it's hard to get a good look. It's possible that this could just be a bear encounter, however at one point the animal does stand on its rear legs. It looks to have long arms that reach much lower than most animals. Could this be the infamous Sasquatch that hunters have been looking for so many years? At about 6 PM on October 24, 2013, this hunter was out on his Mississippi property looking for wild boar when he spotted a mysterious creature in the distance. The hunter began filming the beast on his iPhone, which he claims was about 50 meters away. He said the animal, which he thought might be a skunk ape, was leaning up against a cypress tree. The cryptid was allegedly stripping bark off logs with its strong hands. In the footage, it's clear that some kind of large animal is sitting in the distance. It has a thick neck and shoulders with a very large gorilla-like head. At one point, you can hear the beast snap a thick branch with its brute strength. The crack echoes through the swamp. Legends tell of giant ape-like animals that roam the swamps of Mississippi. Some call them skunk or stink apes, characterized by a foul odor that is said to accompany them. These creatures have been thought to roam the area for centuries, with thousands of witnesses all reporting very similar sightings. When the hunter was asked about his encounter, he said he was baffled. He claims he's been hunting wild boar for years on this patch of land and has never seen anything like it. Could this hunter have captured proof of the mythic skunk ape that has eluded scientists for so many years?
Now just before we finish this video, I want to give a huge shout out to the Pennsylvania Sasquatch research team. They helped us write this list. Now if you're into all things Bigfoot, I highly recommend you check out their channel. A link should appear right now in the corner there. Head on over, show them some love. If you like what you see, hit subscribe and tell them Slapped Ham sent you. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button because we do stuff like this each and every week. Hit that upward facing thumb or leave us a comment down below. We love reading them. And this is the Slapped Ham shining off. How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some insane CCTV footage. From a freewheeling car tyre that disrupted a business meeting to the moment a baby fell from a 2-story window ledge. Join us as we take a look at 10 crazy moments caught on CCTV.
Watch as this parking lot security door gets the better of this car. There's not a lot of solid information about this clip. It's not known where this took place, but it appears to be at the entrance of a public parking lot. In the footage, we see a car approach a closed security door. It pauses for a moment as a passenger hastily exits the vehicle. Then it rams right through the wire gate, much to the dismay of the escaped passenger. For some reason, the car reverses back into the gate, this time connecting with the back of the car, bizarrely lifting it into the air. The driver attempts this 2 more times, each time lifting the rear of the vehicle into the air. Finally, he grows impatient and reverses at speed, fully flipping the car upside down. It's not known whether the men were robbing the place or drunk or possibly both. Either way, it makes for some very entertaining footage caught on CCTV. This is some crazy footage caught on CCTV in Adana, Turkey in April 2017. Over multiple security cameras, we see dramatic images of a dislodged tyre bounce down the road only to disrupt what looks like a very serious business meeting in a pharmacy. Owner Abdul Qadir Urdev said he was chatting to 2 men in his pharmacy when suddenly the rogue tyre burst into the store, scraping one of the men. According to witnesses, the tyre became dislodged after a nearby accident took place up the road. Upon impact, the tyre gained momentum, rolling at speed down the street, hitting the curb, which made it change direction toward the storefront. The men escaped with only minor injuries. In February 2016, a CCTV camera in a gas station in Kentucky captured the moment when an e-cigarette exploded in a man's pocket. In the video, we see a man by the name of Josh Hamilton walk up to the counter to pay for his fuel. As he reaches into his pocket to pay, the e-cigarette ignites, spitting sparks and flames out of his pants. He runs outside, patting himself down in an effort to stop the explosion. Luckily, the quick-thinking clerk follows Hamilton with a fire extinguisher. Hamilton was admitted to a local hospital with burns to his thigh and abdomen. This is some hilarious footage taken way back in 2008. Caught on security camera at an unknown Target warehouse in the United States, we see an employee handling a pedestrian stacker. He lifts the fork high into the air, colliding with the warehouse's sprinkler system. Water begins to rain down from the roof. What happens next is almost something out of a Benny Hill sketch. First, the employee tries moving a pallet of stock away from the spraying water. Then he finds a ladder to reach the broken sprinkler system. He tinkers with the pipe, using a wrench to quell the deluge of water. At first, it proves quite effective as the water almost completely stops. However, the employee doesn't seem fully satisfied and gives the wrench one last yank for good measure. As he pulls, the entire pipe bursts, knocking him off the ladder. A torrent of liquid floods down from the roof, the warehouse floor becoming inundated with water. The perpetrator and fellow employees stand by dumbfounded, helpless to do anything. Sticking with broken sprinkler systems, this quick-thinking woman tried staging an injury in the hope of getting workers' compensation. Taken on CCTV in an office in Fort Lauderdale, we see Shayla Veronica White working away at her desk when a piece of pipe from the roof sprinkler system falls in front of her. Startled, she stares at it for a moment. Suddenly, she picks the piece of metal up and hits herself in the head. She grasps her forehead in pain. White went to her boss claiming that the sprinkler had fallen onto her head. She was hoping to get a payout from the employer's insurance company. Suspicious of the accident, the insurance company, along with the state authorities, reviewed the CCTV footage to see what had happened. And there, clear as day, was evidence that White smashed herself in the head with the faulty sprinkler piece. White was convicted of fraud and given 18 months probation. In April 2011, a CCTV camera caught this hilarious footage of a thief's failed getaway. Taken at the Easy Food store in Lake Wales, Florida, the footage shows a thief trying his best to steal 2 cases of beer. As he runs towards the getaway car, his pants fall down, foiling the heist completely. He trips up, falling face first into the pavement. The cans of beer scatter everywhere, spraying their contents on the ground. Shortly after, the clerk of the store comes running out, but the thieves speed away without their loot. It's not known whether they were later arrested. A CCTV camera in China has filmed the terrifying moment a baby fell from a two-story apartment. In the video, we see two men in Zhongshan City in China's Guangdong province looking up horrified as a one-year-old baby sits precariously on a ledge 2 stories high. Pouring rain saturates the onlookers as they brace for the worst. Several witnesses even place cardboard and other objects on the ground to soften the impact of the falling child. A look of panic sets in on the men's faces as the baby slips off the edge of the window. They position themselves with outstretched hands, hoping to catch the plummeting infant. Suddenly, from off camera, we see the child fall safely into one of the men's hands. It's thought that the baby crawled out onto the windowsill looking for its mother. Mr. Lee, the man who caught the child, said, "I didn't think too much at the time. I was just afraid of failing to catch him. It was nothing but instinct." At the end of the footage, we see the infant given to a young woman thought to be the mother of the child. She runs off, cradling the baby. This would have to be one of the stupidest crimes ever committed. In January 2017, a man in Mandurah, Western Australia was caught stealing a CCTV camera while it filmed him committing the theft. Unfortunately, the footage hasn't been released to the public, but police did reveal this photo. Allegedly, the man walks straight up to the camera, shows his entire face along with a very distinctive tattoo on his bicep, then proceeds to steal the CCTV camera while it films every minute of it. It's not known what happened after the incident, but one would think a rather hasty arrest was made. A security camera in Turkey's Marmara province of Sakarya has captured the startling moment a pack of stray dogs rip apart a car. In the footage, taken around mid-2016, we see up to 9 dogs take an interest in a white hatchback in a suburban street. It's thought that they were looking for a stray cat that had taken refuge inside the engine bay of the car. At first, they surround the vehicle, clearly alerted to something hidden inside. One dog begins to pull at the front bumper, tearing half of it off. Another dog sticks its head under the bonnet looking for their prey. Then, finally, they manage to tear the entire bumper off the car. The following morning, owner Sem Achar was shocked to discover his vehicle pulled apart. He notified police thinking his car had been vandalised by a local gang. However, when the authorities reviewed the CCTV footage, they were shocked to see the pack of stray dogs viciously dismantling the car. In 2012, this bar worker got the fright of his life when he fell down an open trapdoor in the King William IV pub near London. In the footage, we see worker Owen operating the sound on an open mic night. He casually walks behind the bar, distracted by his phone and a nearby TV, before plummeting down the exposed hole. Staff and patrons rush to his aid, but bizarrely, one worker takes a look down the hole, then just shuts the door and walks off. According to the Daily Mail, the hole is actually an elevator shaft used to bring up fresh linen to the bar. It's not known why the door was open at the time or why on earth you'd build such a death trap right where people regularly walk. I guess that's why they call them trapdoors. Owen fell 10 feet and hit the top of the elevator at the bottom of the shaft. Despite a dramatic fall, he only suffered a sprained ankle and some local bruising.
Well, there's another episode down. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on channel notifications so you get all our latest updates. Leave us a comment down below if you're enjoying the content. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about alien sightings. From scientists conducting experiments on alien greys to an extraterrestrial spotted in Australian grasslands. We count 10 real alien sightings that are caught on camera.
This is allegedly some footage released from WikiLeaks. It claims to be an interview with a grey alien from the Roswell, New Mexico crash in 1947. Shot inside Area 51, scientists are conducting a series of tests on the extraterrestrial being. They're testing its reflexes, cognitive ability, as well as viral susceptibility within our atmosphere. Real or fake, it's an amazing piece of footage that has sparked considerable discussion around the internet. After this husband and wife complained about a suspected peeping Tom in their yard, it was suggested that they set up a camera by the window. Then, one night after noticing two flashing lights, the husband glanced out the window. What he sees will give you chills. If you look closely, you can see some kind of creature look through the window. It bobs up and down several times before giving this guy the fright of his life. This now famous footage first appeared in 1997. A very secretive man, known only as Victor, claims to have obtained this video from the US government. He says it was filmed in a section of Area 51 known as S4. He claims that the alien is seated behind a glass wall in a decontaminated, temperature-controlled room. Allegedly, there is a telepath trying to communicate with the extraterrestrial being. However, the creature becomes distressed and medical staff are forced to intervene. Many experts have tried to debunk this footage but often fall short of any definite conclusions. It is widely considered some of the most convincing evidence of the existence of alien life. Shot in 2005, the owner of this video initially didn't notice anything strange while filming in the cemetery. However, when they reviewed the footage nearly 6 years later, they noticed something chilling. As the camera pans around the gravestones, you can see some kind of humanoid creature hiding in the cemetery. The figure is grey and gaunt looking with an oversized skull. It seems to cautiously observe the camera, then disappear just seconds later. This piece of striking footage was allegedly filmed in 1987 in a secret military base. A Mexican officer claimed he obtained this footage from an undisclosed US military base. According to the informant, Mexico abides by what's known as an information exchange protocol, which means neighbouring governments can exchange secret information regarding space travel, alien technologies, and the existence of otherworldly beings. This footage purports to be a medical examination of an extraterrestrial creature. In a facility known only as G13, they test the alien's reflexes, sensitivity to light, its cognitive and auditory capabilities. Whether it's a hoax or not, it's still a remarkable piece of footage that continues to stir debate amongst the paranormal community. The owner of this house kept noticing his security light coming on sporadically during the night. He installed a camera on his back porch to find out what was tripping the sensor. What the camera spotted is truly chilling. You could see a humanoid figure peering out alongside the fence. It has eerie black eyes with a striking facial structure. What do you think this security camera has captured? Let us know in the comments section below. This footage was captured sometime in 2016 by a gas station security camera in Peru. At the rear of the pumps, we can see a figure stalking in the bushes. It looks small and silver and almost robotic in the way it moves. Initially, it could be anything, a curious animal, a piece of rubbish drifting in the wind, but things get interesting when a customer notices the object in the distance. He becomes more and more interested in whatever it is and starts to move towards it. The object or creature seems to react to the man's presence, pauses for a moment, then drifts eerily through the air. Before long, several more curious onlookers chase the creature into the bush. We'd love to get your opinion on this one. What do you think it is? Leave a comment down below. This footage was captured in an unknown part of Australia. While sitting at the dinner table, this young boy notices something moving in the grasslands behind his house. He quickly grabs a camera and begins filming. What he spots lurking in the tall grass is unsettling to say the least. Inside the thick brush, there appears to be an alien-like animal staring back at the camera. It has big glossy eyes and a dome-shaped head. Unfortunately, the creature vanishes into the dark of the night before being identified. This video was taken in July 2015 in Nuevo Laredo in the Mexican state of Tamaulipas. After hearing some strange noises on his roof, this man grabbed his camera to investigate. At first he's confused and looks towards the bushes at the rear of his property. Then he hears something crawling across his tin roof. In plain sight is a slender creature with long arms and legs, an elongated neck and small head. It pauses for a second, then leaps over the roof. Is this an extraterrestrial being, or is it just Slender Man naked and afraid? This alarming footage claims to show an extraterrestrial being held captive by the Brazilian government. In the video, several soldiers berate the creature, asking it to speak. It murmurs a number of times and appears to be chained to the seat. Allegedly, after the footage was leaked, the alien creature vanished from custody. Some say the US government intervened and seized all evidence.
Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy our content, then why not consider supporting us on Patreon? You could even get your name scrolling above the top there. For all the details, head on over to our Patreon campaign. There's a link in the description box. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about abandoned buildings. From a creepy robed figure seen staring from an upstairs window to an abandoned laboratory filled with sinister science experiments. We count 10 of the creepiest things discovered inside abandoned buildings. And before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this.
In 2008, two friends captured this unsettling video while exploring an abandoned house in an unknown location. The house itself is old and believed by many to be haunted, but what these two see inside is far worse than any ghost. As one of the explorers opens the front door, some sort of creature rushes towards them from out of the darkness. The creature, which appears to move on all fours, almost looks as though it was waiting for the boys to enter the mansion. The pair run for their lives as the beast lunges towards them. While the creature appears to be human, it moves more like an animal. It lets out a ferocious squeal similar to a wild pig as it rushes forward. What could this bizarre creature actually be? Is it a human or is it some sort of animal? In the comments section below, let us know what you think it was that chased these boys from the abandoned house. In 2009, Reddit user Never Enough Muppets claimed to have discovered something very creepy in an abandoned mansion, not far from where he lived in Suffolk County, Long Island. The house was badly neglected and looked as though it was furnished in the 1960s or 70s. In one room he found a pile of mail dated around August 1995, leading him to believe that this was probably when the owners had left. He entered another room. This one was full of children's toys, but not old or broken toys. These ones looked new, as though someone had played with them recently. He continued to the kitchen where he found some empty bean cans which looked as though they had just been opened. He made his way up the stairs to the second level. The floor was so warped that he had to be careful where he stood. Inside a bedroom at the end of the hall, he found hundreds of birthday cards, all wishing someone named Eric a happy birthday. Each card looked as though it had been written by the same person. He decided to climb the stairs to the third floor, this one even more decrepit than the last. Suddenly, he heard a sound coming from a nearby bedroom. It sounded like a slapping sound followed by dragging. He froze just as a very dirty pair of hands appeared from the doorway. A man began to drag himself into the hall, making a guttural moaning sound as he pulled himself closer. The Reddit user ran down the stairs as fast as he could, turning to see if he was being followed. He made his way out of the window he used to enter the house and escape to safety. He never returned to the abandoned house ever again. This photo is said to have been taken in the basement of an abandoned hospital somewhere in the United States. It shows a bathtub full of human brains floating in some sort of brown liquid. The photo caused quite a stir when it surfaced online, with many believing it had to be fake. The police were reportedly notified shortly after the gruesome discovery was made. Because the bathtub full of brains was found in an old abandoned hospital, the grotesque discovery was simply put down to a very poor storage solution, and no criminal charges were ever laid. In 2006, it was reported that a bizarre laboratory was discovered underneath an abandoned orphanage in London. It was said to contain the remains of hundreds of creatures, many of which were considered to be mythological. The specimens are now supposedly housed in the Maryland Cryptid Museum, and according to their website, the collection includes taxidermied dragons, the infant forms of werewolves, and artifacts from ancient vampire nations. The collection was reported to have belonged to Thomas Theodore Maryland, an 18th century cryptozoologist who spent his entire life collecting the remains of bizarre and unusual creatures from around the world. The current curator of the museum, an artist by the name of Alex C.F., is said to have inherited the bizarre collection. Many skeptics have dismissed the story as the museum is not actually open to the public. Some believe that the specimens seen on the website are nothing more than very detailed works of art created by the artist himself. While the truth about the collection may never be known, even the idea that a mysterious collection of cryptids was unearthed from beneath an abandoned London orphanage is unsettling to say the least. It's enough to make anyone lay awake at night wondering what strange things might actually be buried in their own basement. When a group of explorers entered an old abandoned petting zoo, they discovered something very unsettling. One of the barns was full of completely naked dolls. While it's unclear exactly where this strange discovery was made, it certainly doesn't detract from the creepiness. Why was an abandoned petting zoo storing naked dolls? Was the previous owner collecting them, or were they being stored for some other reason? What do you think the owner was up to? In 2014, a police officer known only as Ted posted this disturbing video. He claimed to have heard some strange noises coming from a neighbouring house after responding to a disturbance in Delray, Detroit, and decided to investigate. As the officer approaches the abandoned house, he pans the camera across an old newspaper clipping, then calls out to see if anyone's inside the building. Suddenly, a ghastly face appears in the upstairs window before disappearing into the darkness. The video reveals that the article seen by the police officer was actually about a woman named Rose Verez, who was known as the Witch of Delray. It was thought that Verez may have murdered as many as 12 men in the 1930s, but that her neighbours were too scared to testify against her, believing that she had supernatural powers that could make their children sick. Did this officer actually catch a glimpse of the infamous Delray Witch? Was it a creepy coincidence that the article was there on the ground, or did the man plan it in order to create an elaborate hoax? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. This video from YouTuber Double Bins is believed by many to show a ghost wandering in the attic of an abandoned house. The footage starts as a group of boys are walking across a field towards an old, dilapidated house. They enter and begin to explore the ground floor, which appears to be very heavily vandalized. As the camera pans towards the roof, a strange dark figure can be seen walking past an opening that leads to the attic. The camera holder yells to the other boys and the group immediately run from the house. While the video footage is poor and it's difficult to make out the figure in any great detail, it does leave you wondering what it could actually be. Is it a ghost, or could it be a person that's living in the attic of this old abandoned building? What do you think the dark figure seen in this video actually is? Built in 1923, the West Park Hospital was a psychiatric facility located in Surrey, England. It was one of 5 psychiatric hospitals built in the area known as the Epsom Cluster. The hospital eventually became run down, and by 2003 most of the buildings were closed and the site was abandoned. In 2010, several buildings were demolished, with only a few left to be later converted into apartments as part of a new housing complex. Before it was destroyed, the hospital was a popular site for urban explorers. Many of the rooms remained relatively intact, including many of the patients' quarters and even an old padded cell. This photo was taken by an urban explorer in the attic of the hospital. Someone has taken all of the fire extinguishers from the facility and arranged them in the shape of a giant pentagram on the floor. Could this have been part of some sort of sinister ritual, or was it just some kids playing a prank? Either way, it makes for a very creepy and unsettling photo. Reddit user Pacotes claimed to have had a terrifying experience while exploring an abandoned missile silo in Colorado. One day he was part of a group giving some girls a tour of the facility. As they made their way into one of the main rooms, they found that a hatch door that led to one of the tunnels had been broken off and was lying on the ground. When they looked closer, they noticed that the hatch door had a pool of blood on it. The blood was not stale or dry, however, it was fresh, as though someone or something had just injured itself ripping the hatch from its hinges very recently. The blood formed a trail and they decided to follow it. They soon realized that whatever was bleeding was not heading back to the surface, but deeper and deeper into the maze-like complex. The trail led the group into one of the adjoining silos. They followed the trail to a railed ledge that overlooked a drop of at least 50 feet into the darkness below. Blood was covering the platform next to the drop, and it looked as though the thing that was bleeding had leapt from the ledge. The group no longer thought they were following the trail of an injured human who might need their help, and decided it was wiser to head back to the surface. They never discovered what it was they were following, or if it ever made it out of the silo alive. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at some truly unsettling footage filmed inside an abandoned house in New York, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be up to date with all the latest creepy content on our channel. In 2013, YouTuber Alien6467 captured this footage in an abandoned house in Southwood, New York. While driving along a deserted stretch of road, the group spots the derelict house and decides to investigate. The inside of the house is empty and there is graffiti covering the walls. As the group make their way into one of the larger rooms, the word vengeance can be seen written above the fireplace. The group take a closer look and notice that the wall is covered with plastic bags, each containing a single coin. One of the members searches a hole in the floor and finds even more bags. Again, each one contains a single coin. As the group leaves the house, the camera holder focuses on the upstairs window, where they notice something moving inside. As the camera zooms in, you can clearly see a robed figure staring ominously out of the window. The video then ends abruptly as the group quickly leave the property. Who or what was the sinister figure seen peering from the window? Was it a ghost, or could it have been a member of some sort of dark cult? Could it be possible that the group interrupted some sort of bizarre ritual taking place? Whatever it was, the figure was probably inside the house the whole time the group was filming.
Well, that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying our channel, slap that upward facing thumb. If you want to watch some more, there's an embedded link there, or there's some links to some playlists in the description box below. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! From a butterfly that looks exactly like a dead leaf to an octopus that mimics the colours and behaviour of its predators. Join us as we take a look at the top 10 animals with the best camouflage.
The colouring of the orchid mantis allows it to camouflage perfectly on an orchid flower. Native to the rainforests of Southeast Asia, this amazing creature can grab hold of a flower and sway it back and forth, luring smaller insects closer. It uses a small black dot on its abdomen that resembles a fly to coax its prey within striking distance. It then strikes out with its forearms, capturing its prey. The fantastic leaf-tailed gecko is also known as the Balwang Santanic leaf gecko due to its large red eyes. Native only to the northern and central tropical forests of Madagascar, the gecko's skin matches the colour and patterns of the foliage on surrounding trees. Its camouflage is further enhanced by its tail, which has irregular grooves along its sides resembling the shape of a leaf. The fantastic leaf-tailed gecko uses its effective disguise to avoid predators, and also has the ability to voluntarily shed its tail if attacked. Unlike most of the animals on this list, the spicebush swallowtail caterpillar doesn't use its camouflage to blend into its surroundings. Instead, it uses it to mimic a more dangerous animal, the common green snake. Just before it's ready to pupate, it develops a swollen thorax and two large dots that resemble eyes. It also mimics the movements of the snake by rearing up and retracting its head as if it's preparing to strike. This behavior deters birds from attacking the caterpillar, as they are the natural prey of the snake. The tawny frogmouth is a bird found throughout mainland Australia and Tasmania. Its grey and brown streaked plumage allow it to camouflage as a broken tree branch. It will often point its head upwards, further accentuating the shape of the limb it's perched upon. The tawny frogmouth will usually not break its cover unless a predator approaches too close, in which case it will take flight. If threatened, tawny frogmouths will make an alarm call that signals to their chicks to remain motionless and silent, ensuring they do not break their cover. The tasseled anglerfish is only found in the waters off the coast of southeastern Australia. Its body is covered with root-like tentacles that help it to camouflage amongst the coral and sponges found in its natural habitat. When it's motionless, it's almost impossible to spot with the naked eye. The tasseled anglerfish's browny-white colouring and dark red tentacles further add to its disguise, allowing it to blend in with the surrounding plant life. The common barren caterpillar is native to India and Southeast Asia. It feeds on mango and cashew nut trees and is considered a pest in some areas. The ability this creature has to camouflage itself against a leaf is remarkable and helps to protect the caterpillar from hungry predators. The caterpillar's slender hair-like legs blend perfectly with the venation pattern of the leaf, while the lighter streak running down the length of its body seamlessly matches the center line. There are over 200 species of chameleon currently known to scientists. This lizard has the remarkable capability to change the colour of its skin to camouflage amongst its surroundings. It doesn't just use this ability to hide from predators, however. Some chameleons change their colour to attract a mate, signal aggression, or even signal defeat in a fight. Some even turn a darker colour in the morning to help absorb more heat from the sun's rays. The Smith's dwarf chameleon is also known to adjust its colours for camouflage based on the visual capabilities of a specific predator. The chameleon's ability to change its colour is due to its skin. The outer layer is pigmented while underneath is a layer of cells that contain guanine crystals. The chameleon can change the colour of its skin by adjusting the space between the crystals, thus changing the wavelength of light reflected. Also known as stick bugs, leaf insects, and phasmids, stick insects are found on every continent on Earth except for Antarctica. They range in size, some as small as 1.5 centimeters, which is around 0.6 inches. While the females of the genus Phobadicus, which are considered the world's longest insects, measure in at nearly 60 centimeters, which is 23.6 inches in length. With a remarkable ability to camouflage themselves amongst tree branches, stick insects are some of the most difficult insects to spot with the naked eye. The dead leaf butterfly gets its name due to its striking resemblance to an actual dead leaf. Its brown wings have darker flecks around the edges that resemble the broken form of a damaged leaf. Native to tropical Asia from India to Japan, this amazing creature camouflages itself amongst tree foliage or fallen leaves on the forest floor. Remarkably, the dead leaf butterfly also exhibits polyphenism, the ability to produce different forms based on dry season and wet season conditions. Both forms are even more suited to camouflage within their environment, and with the wet season variety being smaller and more brightly coloured to further blend in with its surroundings. The mimic octopus is native to the Indo-Pacific Oceans, ranging from New Caledonia through to the Gulf of Thailand and south to Australia's Great Barrier Reef. This remarkable creature takes camouflage to the next level. Not only can it change colour to match its surroundings, it can also mimic other animals' shapes, colours and behaviours to avoid predators. The octopus has been observed mimicking up to 15 different types of marine animal. For example, one specimen was seen to immediately change its behaviour from docile while resting on the ocean floor to sudden overt swimming motions matching the movement of a school of flounder. When attacked by damselfish, the octopus was even observed mimicking a more dangerous animal. It assumed the colour patterns and movements of a black and yellow banded sea snake, a natural predator of the fish.
Well, there's another episode in the can. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to head on over to our Patreon campaign if you want to pitch ideas for top 10s. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! From a man that teleports out of the way of a speeding train to a mysterious scientist that appears in front of a moving truck. Join us as we take a look at 6 teleportations caught on film.
Let's get straight into it with his bizarre appearance in Penza, Russia. This clip shows 2 men and a cameraman discussing something on a street when out of nowhere a man on a bicycle appears and rides away. Slowing it down, there's no possible way the man and his bike were hiding behind the guy in the foreground. Is this a glitch in the footage, or has this old man appeared from somewhere else entirely? This clip, taken in an unknown location, began doing the internet rounds in late 2015. It's some dashcam footage that shows a four-wheel drive changing lanes. As it merges into the right-hand lane, a man appears out of nowhere. He tumbles onto the road and disappears out of shot. Many have noted that it's possible the man was riding on the bonnet of the four-wheel drive before he fell. This is a plausible explanation as we can't actually see the front of the car, but why would anyone do that? Or could it be that this man has teleported from another place in time and space? This is a very old clip that first aired on TV back in the 90s. It captivated audiences, leaving them wondering whether the police filmed a real ghost car. The dashcam footage shows a police car in pursuit of a runaway driver. The suspect is driving erratically all over the road when his final turn leaves police baffled. Many have offered explanations for this footage. Some say the car flew through the chain link with enough force to slide under the loosely attached fence. Others have noted that there's a gap to the right of the fence that the car may have just driven through. Then there's the paranormal explanations, ghost car, aliens, teleportation. Whatever the case may be, it's some amazing footage that has raised eyebrows for decades. We featured this dashcam footage a few weeks ago, but we thought it was so amazing we had to take another look. It shows a semi-trailer swerve across the road, nearly hitting oncoming traffic. Inexplicably, a man in a lab coat appears alongside the truck. It's as though he's teleported out of nowhere, forcing the truck to take evasive action. The man then wanders dazed and confused to the other side of the road. What do you think? Is this just really clever editing or a glimpse at a genuine teleportation? This is some security footage taken on December 20, 2015. It shows a man riding a motorbike up a road. As he approaches the hill, his bike stops seconds before a train speeds by. You can clearly see him struggle with his bike right as the train hits. Then, not even a second later, he reappears running down the hill. Where did his bike go and how did he get back on this side of the train tracks? Is this some kind of anomaly with the footage, or has this man blinked himself to safety? This security camera has captured something quite alarming. Taken in an unknown location, it shows a hooded figure walk straight through a door into a shop front. The lights flicker inside the store, then the man walks back through the locked doors and out of sight. If you look closely, the timestamp on the security footage flickers between 2016 and 2019. What do you think? Elaborate hoax or proof that this teleporting time traveller just wanted a quick bite to eat?
Follow us on Twitter @SlappedHam to see outtakes just like this. From a Spanish YouTuber who made it massive trolling people on YouTube. Join us as we take a look at the top 10 most subscribed channels, top 10 most subscribed YouTube channels as of 2016. The top 10 most subscribed YouTube channels as of Dillybop. From a Spanish YouTuber who made it massive trolling people on chat roulette. Pew! Get anywhere. Pew! 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 There's links everywhere if you want to check them out. That'll probably do. Toodles! Oh, struth. Well, that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, remember to hit that big old red subscribe button because we have videos coming out just like this every Monday and Thursday. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about some really creepy photos. From a ghostly child warning a girl to wear her seatbelt, to a ghoulish monster that was spotted in the top window of an old English pub. We count 10 real ghost photos that have the internet spooked. And before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this.
This extraordinary photo seems to show the moment a ghost child appeared in the back seat of a car. Some paranormal experts are claiming that this is the spirit of an accident victim who is trying to warn the young girl that she's not wearing a seatbelt. In November 2016, Melissa Kurtz was driving her daughter Harper to a beauty pageant. 13-year-old Harper decided to take some selfies to entertain herself and couldn't have known the chilling image that would develop. Both the mother and daughter claim there was no one else in the car, yet somehow there is clearly a pale, curly-haired boy sitting in the back seat. The boy has a really eerie quality with a sad, slightly warped expression. Kurtz was reportedly so spooked by the image she decided to investigate the stretch of road the photo was taken on. She discovered that the boy's appearance coincided with the anniversary of a tragic road accident in which one person died. Experts have tried to debunk the photo but haven't been able to offer an explanation. One investigator suggested that perhaps the accident victim was this very boy, who is now trying to warn Harper to wear her seatbelt. Kurtz believes Harper has always attracted supernatural energy, claiming that orbs of light are often seen in photos of her. She also mentioned that when Harper was young, she was found drawing strange symbols on a window. When she researched the images, they resembled glyphs that told the story of Archangel Raphael, banishing the demon Asmodeus to hell. What's going on in this image then? Is it possible that Harper can attract supernatural energy and somehow summon the young boy's spirit? This creepy ghost photo was taken in May 2015 at the Torquay Museum in Devon, England. The pic was snapped during one of the museum's famous ghost tours, in which participants hope to encounter something from the realm of the paranormal. The photo seems to show a ghostly apparition walking through a candlelit room. It looks to be a woman casting her eyes towards the floor, wearing period attire. She has a strange blue-grey complexion and seems to be illuminated by a light source other than the candle in the corner. Staff took the photo inside the museum's old Devon farmhouse gallery, an exhibition filled with 300-year-old artifacts and furniture. Staff claimed the room was completely empty at the time the photo was taken. It wasn't until several days later that they noticed the eerie figure. The museum is notorious for supernatural events. There have been fingerprints discovered on the inside of a mummy sarcophagus that hadn't been opened in years. A centuries-old crib has been spotted rocking on its own, and some very creepy CCTV footage was captured in the gift shop in 2016. As the two employees are chatting in the gift shop, several leaflets inexplicably fly off the shelf to the left of screen. It's enough to catch their attention, but they think nothing of it. Then, when they go to pick up the mess, dozens more leaflets pour onto the floor. Since the photo and footage were released to the public, hundreds of tourists have flocked to take part in the museum's ghost tours. The event runs in the dead of night, walking participants through the long dark hallways of this Victorian heritage building. Members can learn how experts investigate paranormal disturbances, study ghost hunting techniques, and perhaps even have an encounter of their own. In May 2015, Google Street View captured a chilling image that many are calling a demon ghost. Twitter user Keswick Bro was looking for a local fish and chip shop on Google when he noticed something very eerie in the top window of the Stewart Hotel in Liverpool, England. In the photo, you can see a ghoulish face peering out of the top floor window of the centuries-old pub. It has demonic-looking eyes, a bald head, and sharp features. Whatever it is, it seems to be snarling at the passing cars. The user tweeted, "Was looking for Burns Chip Shop Walton on Google Maps. Came across Stewart Hotel pub opposite. Something in top window caught my eye. I zoomed in on Google Street View and what can only be described as a weird face or a possible ghost is staring out of the window." When the image went live, it got shared hundreds of times, scaring the heck out of the majority of viewers. No one can quite explain what the picture shows. Tom Sleman, a local expert on all things supernatural, commented on the photo saying that it's not the first time the pub has been noted for paranormal activity. In 1897, the owner of the establishment, Robertson Pemberton, reported that the pub was haunted. He claimed that he could hear strange noises almost every night coming from the cellar. Initially, he thought it was just rats scratching around, but eventually the mysterious noises got so loud that neighbours began complaining. After a thorough investigation, there was no known source of the noise. Today, many locals claim that the pub is haunted. They say they've heard inexplicable noises, felt cold spots, and even had their clothes pulled from behind without anyone else being around. Could this photo be proof that the Stewart Hotel is haunted? Is this definitive evidence that spirits have lingered on in this old building? This photo has captured a ghostly shadow that has defied explanation for generations. A Reddit user posted this photo with a chilling story attached. The user said that when his grandpa was young, he would often see the swing in his backyard swaying back and forth, even when there was no wind. It started happening so often that he pleaded with his mum to buy him a camera so he could photograph the swing. Finally, she bought him an old camera from a thrift store and he immediately started taking photos of the swing anytime it moved. Several days later, when the film was developed, nothing particularly interesting showed up in the photos. It was just a swing and nothing else. That was until he got to the 6th photo in the set that an eerie shadow showed up in plain sight. He couldn't believe what he had captured and was certain that it was a ghost. Apparently, the grandpa kept the photo hidden for years, only showing a select few people. The Reddit user claims that when he finally saw his grandpa's photo, he hired some experts to analyze it. They deemed it authentic and were certain it hadn't been tampered with in any way. This mysterious photo was taken in the hospital room of a dying grandfather, right as a priest prayed by the bedside. In 2014, Bob Large, who was 76 at the time, was in the Countess of Chester Hospital suffering from bladder cancer. Doctors had given him just days to live. Grandson Chris Ledbetter took the photo and couldn't quite believe what had been captured. In the photo, a saintly figure can be seen standing at the end of the bed. It's a grey apparition that looks to have a hood draped over their head. Ledbetter was so shocked by the image he immediately went to the ward manager. But before the manager even saw the image, they described the figure perfectly, saying that lots of patients see her at the end of their beds. When patient Bob Large saw the photo, he said, "The picture is of my guardian angel. I've been in that hospital on the same ward so many times. The vicar always comes in and says prayers and then goes, and I always feel much better. Every time I feel like there's a presence in the room." According to staff, it's not the first time the figure has been reported in the hospital. One incident saw a patient screaming out in the middle of the night. When nurses rushed to their aid, they said a ghost was standing by their bedside. On the whole, however, patients say the figure comes in peace. Many have been bedridden, unable to move, then they say a presence can be felt nearby and often make a miraculous recovery. This eerie photo was taken at a road accident in July 2017 in the Antong province of Thailand. A witness, 37-year-old Chatchai Suplang, took a series of photos of the pickup truck that had slammed into a trailer on Saturday evening. It wasn't until later that night, when reviewing the photos, that he noticed a young boy walking between the two smashed vehicles. He was certain there was no children at the scene of the accident when he took the photos. Yet, clear as day, in the photo is a small boy wearing a multicoloured t-shirt and flip-flops walking among the accident. Suplang became so curious about the incident he rang local police and asked about the boy. They informed him that there were no children present at any point during the investigation. When the photo was posted to Facebook, it quickly sparked a paranormal debate. Some said the witnesses, including the police, must have been mistaken and not noticed the boy. Others think it's an omen of sorts and that it's the spirit of a boy who has appeared to warn people about the dangerous stretch of road. There's not a lot of solid information available about this photo. It was taken a few years ago in an unknown part of Italy. A couple were having their picture taken at a romantic spot in town when one of the photos revealed a rather terrifying figure. To the left of the couple, an eerie apparition can be seen floating by. The figure has a strange translucent quality and lacks any real definition. The face is blurry and has no recognisable features. Many are calling the figure a ghost. When the image did the social media rounds, some comments noted that it could simply be a case of overexposure. However, one clairvoyant said that the couple were lucky nothing bad happened to them, referencing an evil energy that they could feel emanating from the image. What do you think? Is this just an overexposed photo, or is this a glimpse of a sinister force that may have attached itself to this unknowing couple? When Guillermo Sosa took some snaps to sell his car, he wasn't expecting the terrifying image that would develop. In late 2015, Sosa took several photos of his white convertible, hoping to sell it online. When he reviewed the photos, his blood nearly ran cold when he noticed the creepy face in the left-hand side mirror. In the photo, you can see a pale, feminine face peering into the mirror. It seems to be looking straight at the camera. Sosa was adamant that no one else was with him at the time he took the photos, and he certainly would have noticed someone sitting in the front seat of his car. Some skeptics have said the image is nothing more than pareidolia, a psychological phenomenon in which humans perceive familiar patterns from a stimulus, in this case a visual cue. It's possible that it's just the seat headrest reflected in the mirror. However, paranormal expert Gordon Rudder said the face is uncanny. He feels that a headrest doesn't look anything like a face even when reflected in a mirror, suggesting that this could indeed be something from the realm of the supernatural. Whatever the case may be, it certainly makes for a chilling image, one that seems to linger with you long after you've seen it. This unsettling photo was taken on the 3rd floor of an unknown hotel. Guests were sitting in their hotel room when they heard some unusual sounds coming from outside their window. When they drew the curtains, they were shocked to discover fingerprints on the outside of the window. They immediately rang guest services who couldn't explain the phenomena. The room was 3 stories high and didn't have a fire escape or balcony, making it impossible for anyone to press their hands on the glass. To this day, no one has been able to explain the eerie handprints on this window. Before we get to that number 1 spot and take a look at a truly chilling ghost photo taken in Queensland, Australia, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be up to date with all the latest creepy content. People around the internet are saying that this photo has captured the ghost of a young girl who tragically drowned in this very lake over 100 years ago. Kim Davison took this chilling image while swimming at Murphy's Hole in Lockyer River in southeast Queensland, Australia. The family were enjoying their afternoon together, swimming, taking photos, when they couldn't have known the terrifying image that would be captured. If you take a closer look at the photo, only 2 adults and 3 children were swimming in the river that day. However, a 4th child can clearly be seen behind the family. Despite several experts analysing the photo, no one has been able to explain the mysterious 4th child. Locals often report that the notorious swimming hole is dangerous. It's believed that the oldest child in the photo was struggling to stay afloat despite being a strong swimmer. When the photo was shared to a ghost investigation forum, an eerie newspaper clipping surfaced that tells of a chilling backstory. 13-year-old Doreen O'Sullivan drowned in Murphy's Hole in 1915. It took witnesses over an hour to recover the body that went missing in the 20-foot deep pool of water. Even back then, the swimming spot had a reputation for being dangerous. When the family were asked about their now famous photo, they all confirmed that there was definitely not a 4th child swimming with them that day. Could this photo really have captured the spirit of Doreen O'Sullivan, the girl that tragically died all those years ago?
Fresh pants please, I seem to have soiled myself. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, slap that upward facing thumb, or leave us a comment down below and let us know which one of these ghost photos scared the bejeebers out of you. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew!
Slap him.
10 ghostly photos you've never seen. From creepy little girls with teddy bears to ominous 9-foot tall apparitions, we take a cautious peep at 10 ghostly photos you've never seen. The White Lady of Worstead Church. In 1975, Peter Berthelot took this photo of his wife Diane on a trip to Worstead Church in Norfolk, UK. The couple didn't notice the mysterious figure sitting behind Diane until a friend pointed it out after flipping through some photos some months later. The following year, the couple returned to Worstead Church where they showed the photo to Reverend Pettit, the church vicar. Reverend Pettit immediately recognised the apparition as the White Lady, a ghostly resident of the church who had been in the area for more than 100 years. Phantom of the Philippines. Little is known about this photo taken in Manila, Philippines. The two girls pictured claim that no one was around at the time the photo was taken and that it is not double exposure. Many skeptics argue the validity of this picture, while others believe it to be evidence that proves the existence of the spirit world. Ghostly girl in burning building. On the 19th of November 1995, Tony O'Reilly captured this photo of the Wen Town Hall in Shropshire burning to the ground. O'Reilly snapped the pic using a 200mm telephoto lens while standing on the other side of the street. Some locals claim that the little girl seen in the image is the ghost of Jane Churm, a young girl who, in 1677, accidentally set fire to a thatched roof, causing many of the town's old timber houses to burn down. The Grey Lady of Hampton Court. This ghastly image was captured by Holly Hampshire on a trip to Hampton Court Palace, Surrey, UK. 12-year-old Hampshire took a succession of photos of her cousin Brooke McGee and didn't think anything of them until she reviewed the snaps the following day. Some believe the figure Hampshire captured in one photo to be that of Dame Sybil Penn, a servant at Hampton Court, who died of smallpox in 1562. Sightings of the shadowy dame began in 1829 after her tomb was moved due to renovations. Shortly after, strange sounds of someone working a spinning wheel could be heard late at night. This led to a search of the palace, where a secret chamber was discovered that housed a mysterious antique spinning wheel. The ghosts of SS Waterdown. In 1924, Captain Keith Tracy of the SS Waterdown captured this eerie photo after his crewmen reported seeing the ghostly faces of two recently deceased sailors in the waves near the ship. Crew members Michael Meehan and James Courtney were said to have been overcome by fumes and died while cleaning an oil tank some days earlier. The pair were then buried at sea, which was customary at the time. The following day, just as evening was approaching, the first mate of the ship reported seeing the faces of the deceased sailors in the waves off the port side of the ship. After returning ashore, Captain Tracy bought a camera, and next time at sea he is said to have captured this unsettling photo. The Haunted Bureau. This creepy photograph of a Queen Anne-style bureau was taken in the early 20th century. At first glance, everything appears to be normal until you notice the ghostly hand near the top of the image. The furniture dealer Montague Cooper was at a loss to explain this image. Ghostly girl with teddy bear. The young girl in this picture is Anastasia Peretz. Many years after this photo was taken, Peretz was looking through one of her old photo albums when she came across this image and noticed something very unsettling. The ghostly girl with a teddy bear opening the bedroom door behind her to get a closer look. Spectre of Newby Church. Taken in 1963 by Reverend K.F. Lord at Newby Church in North Yorkshire, this unsettling image seemingly captures an ominous 9-foot-tall hooded spectre. Some have proposed that the image may be of a 16th century monk with a white shroud over his face to hide a bad case of leprosy or some other disfigurement. Many photographic experts have studied this ghostly photo only to conclude that it's not a result of double exposure. Just take a close look at the way the figure's black cloak drapes perfectly over the altar stairs. Ghostly photobomb. In 2014, two young UK women took a Halloween selfie which later revealed a terrifying photobomber. After uploading this photo to Snapchat, Kaylee Atkinson rang her friend Victoria Greaves and told her to take a closer look at the photo they'd taken earlier that evening. The picture scared one of the girls so much that she immediately deleted the image from her phone. The two girls claimed there was no one else in the bar at the time this photograph was taken. The Pink Lady of Greencastle. This photo taken by Guy Winters at the O'Hare Mansion in Greencastle, Indiana, appears to show the ghostly apparition of a lady looking out from one of the upstairs windows. Winters, a paranormal photographer, went to investigate after reports of paranormal activity in the abandoned house. Winter claims that the figure's image could not be seen in the window at the time the photo was taken, and only appeared once the photo was developed. An analysis of the film's negative also revealed the ghostly vision. Oh my god, someone send me trousers, for I have soiled them out of terror. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to give this video a thumbs up because it lets us know you're enjoying the content. Subscribe if you haven't already because we have new stuff coming out every Thursday, 3 PM Pacific Standard Time. And this is the Slap Term Shiny Wolf.
Slap him.
Eerie places made of bones. If you've ever thought of building an eye-catching centerpiece out of human bone, then chances are you're already being watched by the FBI. Unfortunately, that type of thing is totally unacceptable today, but 200 years ago, any wall could be spruced up with a human skull or two. So join us as we take a look at some of the most eerie places made of bones. The Capuchin Crypt. This crypt, commissioned by Pope Urban VIII in 1626, lies beneath a small church in Rome, Italy. The Pope's brother, Antonio Barberini, a Capuchin friar, ordered the exhumation of thousands of dead friars with their bones to be moved to the new crypt. The crypt became the final resting place for about 4,000 friars, buried between 1500 and 1870. One wall of the crypt features bones that have been arranged in different patterns surrounding several intact skeletons still wearing friars' robes. This dimly lit crypt is open for tourists brave enough to catch a glimpse of the eerie artwork, with one plaque reading, "What you are now, we used to be. What we are now, you will be." Whew, take it easy. The Monastery of San Francisco. The catacombs beneath the Monastery of San Francisco in Lima, Peru contain the remains of some 70,000 people. Rumoured to be riddled with secret passageways, this underground ossuary was the original resting place of anyone who died in the city. This tourist attraction is not recommended for anyone with claustrophobia. The long, bone-lined hallways lead to several large pits filled with even more bones. Like a weird game of skeleton Tetris, the bones are all meticulously stacked, creating several very creepy patterns. Skull Chapel. With a small, unassuming exterior, the Skull Chapel in Poland hides an eerie secret. It contains more than 3,000 human skulls. There is also another 21,000 skeletons stuffed in the basement. Inspired by the Capuchin Crypt in Rome, this dedication to the dead took 18 years to construct and fill with bones. Inside the chapel there is a carving of an angel that reads, "Arise from the dead." Yeah, this is probably not the best place to seek refuge when the zombie apocalypse begins. The Fossil Cabin. The Fossil Cabin in Wyoming, USA was built in 1932 by Thomas Boylan. Originally intending to collect fossils from the local area to construct a dinosaur skeleton, Boylan soon realized the difficulty of the project. The fossils he collected were from several species of dinosaur, making it impossible to construct one complete dinosaur skeleton. With the help of his son, Boylan instead constructed a wooden cabin and lined the exterior with the found fossils. In 1938, Ripley's Believe It or Not dubbed the dwelling the oldest cabin in the world, which is obviously not true. Have you seen an episode of the Flintstones? Sedlec Ossuary. Located in Kutna Hora, Czech Republic, the Sedlec Ossuary is perhaps the most bizarre bony building of them all. The ossuary was built using the remnants of between 40,000 to 70,000 skeletons. The centerpiece is an enormous draping chandelier built with at least one of every type of human bone. Pelvises, femurs, vertebrae and skulls, you name it, the chandelier is made from it. Several other sculptors line the building's interior, including a bony coat of arms and other arrangements. The macabre creations were not added until 1870, when a man named František Rint was employed to arrange the piles of accumulated bones into something a little more eye-friendly. And naturally he thought a gigantic chandelier made of human remains. Nice. I seem to have soiled my trousers. As always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to give that thumbs up button a click. It lets us know you're enjoying the content. Why not follow us over on Twitter for daily Did You Know facts? And this is the Schlapperm Shining Wolf.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about witches. From the multiple sightings of witches throughout Mexico to the blood-sucking bruja of Colombian folklore. We take a look at 9 witches caught on camera.
This footage surfaced in 2011. Filmed in Guanajuato, Mexico, a town known for its silver mining and colonial architecture, 2 men spot something terrifying. In an open field at the back of a farm, a strange creature can be seen flying through the air. The man filming yells bruja, which is the Spanish word for witch or sorceress. The unknown creature glides through the air effortlessly and at one point begins chasing one of the men through the field. Practitioners of black magic and members of the occult have long been reported in rural areas of Mexico. Could this video be proof of witchcraft? This footage began circulating in mid-2017. Filmed in Mexico City, it shows a shadowy humanoid figure flying through the sky. The footage was captured on a phone camera by school children during their soccer training. At first, several of the kids laugh nervously as they don't know how to identify the flying figure. Then someone in the crowd screams. There are as many as a dozen witnesses who dubbed the creature a witch, including a gobsmacked teacher who watches on with his students. This footage was captured in the 1970s by German journalist Ralph Olsen, who travelled to Africa. As he travelled through rural villages, he got word of a powerful shaman that lived in the nearby hills. He visited the shaman's campsite and captured this stunning footage. First, the shaman performs a sacred ritual, creating a ring of fire. His acolytes begin chanting as he slowly lifts off the ground, holds for a moment in mid-air, then returns back down. He repeats this process a number of times. When Olsen returned from his trip with the footage, he was ousted from the broadcasting community as a joke, his reputation left in tatters. Decades later, he maintained that the footage was real and was in no way tampered with. What do you think? Is this shaman really levitating, or is the fire a ploy to keep people at a distance so it's harder to see what's going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. There's not a lot of solid information about this clip. All that's known is that the footage was captured by a security camera at Indimal, a military-grade weapons manufacturer in Colombia. One evening, the security team spotted a strange figure lurking around the government-run facility. The footage shows a hunched-over figure limp into the compound. It looks like it's wearing a black cape as it ducks in and out of the shadows. The clip spread quickly around South American social media, many claiming it to be a witch-like creature from Colombian mythology. Others simply dismissed it as a mangy dog looking for food. While this isn't footage of a witch, many have speculated that this young girl was the target of black magic or witchcraft. Several years ago, the girl seen in this clip kept waking up with bruising all over her body. She couldn't explain what was happening, so she decided to set up a camera to film her movements while she slept. What the camera captured is unsettling to say the least. You can see clearly the girl rise out of her bed, float in the air for a moment, then lower back down. When this footage was uploaded to YouTube back in 2009, it swept through social media and forums, begging the question, is it real? The video was recorded by a man in Russia walking his dog through the woods. Everything seems normal until the dog pauses for a moment as if something's wrong. It begins to bark and runs off down a trail. When the man catches up to his dog, he sees something startling. There in the forest is a girl levitating in the air as a friend watches on. Once they realize they've been spotted, the 2 girls run out of sight. The short, unattributed clip led many to speculate that the girls were practicing witchcraft deep in the woods. Others have simply labelled the video a hoax. Whatever the case may be, it's still a remarkable piece of footage that remains a mystery to this day. In some areas of Colombia, there are tales of a vampire witch woman that feeds on the blood of livestock and wild animals. This footage claims to be a glimpse of one such creature. Taken sometime in early 2013, this footage was captured by a hunter out with his dogs. He claims he was searching a rural property for evidence of the strange blood-sucking witch. In the clip, it's obvious that the dogs pick up the scent of an animal as they begin barking wildly. They hone in on some dense shrubs where suddenly a strange-looking creature lunges out of the dark. The dogs snap and snarl, the hunter takes a shot and brings down the beast. If you slow it down, it's clear some kind of unidentified creature launches out of the darkness, hissing at the dogs. Unfortunately, that's where the footage ends and there's no further testimony to verify what was lurking in the bushes. Was this just a case of granular footage making it hard to see what happened, or was this La Tunda, the blood-sucking witch from Colombian folklore? Filmed in Monterrey, Mexico, this footage came to light in mid-2017. Initially, it was shared to the Facebook page of a paranormal radio show that airs in the US and Mexico. It claims to be proof of a flying witch that manifests into a magical ball of fire. The family claimed they were spending a quiet evening at home when they heard strange noises. Upon investigating with their camera, they captured this startling footage. Social media was divided when the footage went viral. Some claim it's proof of a coven of witches that have been reported to torment the area. Others say it's merely a lantern that's been set on fire lifting into the air. In the town of Monterrey in the Mexican state of Nuevo Leon, reports of bruja or witches began surfacing around the city. Then in May 2006, this striking footage was released to the public. The local media ran with the story, calling it a UFO, but in the acronym's true sense, a literal unidentified flying object. Quickly it was dubbed the Witch of Monterrey, and the story spread like wildfire. In the footage, we clearly see a strange black humanoid figure floating across the mountain range in a straight line. Several days later, 2 police officers claimed they were attacked by 2 hooded creatures in a nearby cemetery. One of the officers said they saw the mysterious beings flying in circles above the graveyard before being attacked. The cemetery is located right under the flight path of the figures seen in this video. Many locals claim witches have haunted the area for centuries, and with the 2 testimonies from police officers along with this footage, one has to wonder what is going on in the city of Monterrey, Mexico.
Well, that was a little bit terrifying. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right there or the red one down below. If you're a regular, leave us a comment. We love reading them. Hit that upward facing thumb as well. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Cryptids are animals or creatures whose existence are unsubstantiated by modern scientific classifications. Yet all around the world, people seem to be encountering weird creatures that almost defy explanation. Are they mistaken, or are there really monsters in this world that we simply don't know about? So join us as we take a look at 10 creepy cryptid sightings caught on film. And before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this.
In late 2016, a strange cryptid creature was spotted swimming through the freezing waters of the Chena River, Alaska. In October of that year, Bureau of Land Management employee Craig McCarr spotted a long, icy creature swimming through murky river water. He grabbed a quick video to prove his sighting, and soon the internet was debating whether Nessie from Loch Ness in Scotland had taken a vacation to North America. In the footage, you can see what looks like a 15-foot long creature undulating through the water. It appears to have icicles stuck on its back from the freezing conditions. McCarr spoke to a local newspaper and said, "I initially thought, and several people thought, it could be some rope that snagged on the bottom of the river with chunks of ice. Other people have mentioned everything from sea monster to giant sturgeon." Several experts agree with the rope theory, suggesting it's formed icicles which are helping it stay afloat, giving the appearance that it's swimming. Whatever the video has captured, no one has been able to definitively prove what's lurking in the water, leaving many to believe that this is genuine evidence of a cryptid that is yet to be classified by modern science. Sticking with strange swimming creatures, in mid-2016, striking footage emerged that seems to show a giant monster swimming through the murky waters of the Thames in London, England. A tourist was taking a ride on a cable car that gives scenic views over Greenwich when they spotted something unusual swimming in the water. Just opposite the famous O2 Arena, a gigantic object can be seen surfacing for a brief moment before diving back underwater. It appears to have several fins running the length of its back with a long neck. A dark shadow in the water hints at the actual size of the beast, but sadly only a glimpse can be seen. Some think the creature could be a Basilosaurus, an enormous marine animal that existed some 35 to 40 million years ago, that has somehow managed to survive deep underwater. Others are, of course, calling the footage fake, claiming the beast has been digitally added. Could a giant prehistoric animal really survive undetected for all these years and now be living in the River Thames? This found footage style video was posted to a YouTube channel called Slender Truth in 2013. It claims to show a group of boys who were stalked and attacked by a Wendigo. In the footage, we see 3 young boys exploring an abandoned house in an unknown rural setting. They search an old shack that looks like it hasn't been used in years. It's falling to bits, full of rotting floorboards and discarded building materials. When they reach the top floor, an uneasiness begins to build, as though the boys are being watched by something. Finally, as they descend the staircase, some kind of monster seems to peer its head into the house. It has long, slender fingers and a large, grotesque face with deep eyes and a bat-like snout. The footage cuts abruptly, suggesting that this creature attacked the boys. The description of the video claims that this animal is a Wendigo, a beast from Native American folklore that is known to be evil with an insatiable bloodlust. The clip has racked up over 11 million views, with a lot of viewers simply assuming it's a work of fiction. However, some claim that it's genuine and that these boys have been registered as missing since 2013. Whether that's true or not remains unclear. This is a curious little clip that apparently shows a real unicorn grazing in a field in England. Unfortunately, it's not known where this footage was taken and details are scarce at best. In the distance, you can see what looks like 2 horses grazing in a field of grass, one brown and one white. However, it becomes obvious that the white horse-like creature has a single horn protruding from its head. For centuries, man has been describing a mythical beast with a single large horn. The ancient Greeks wrote about a legendary animal that could only be tamed by a virgin. Their horns were said to have healing properties and could turn poison into drinkable water. Unicorns are also referenced in the Bible as remes, mystical creatures featuring one spiraled horn. It's written that King David rode a unicorn to heaven to avoid the threat of a lion. Unicorn enthusiasts all around the world are rejoicing, claiming that this is the first hard evidence that their favourite piece of legend is actually real. Could this really be a glimpse of the fabled unicorn? On the 23rd of July 2011, 2 boys heard some strange noises on their property and decided to investigate. They took some footage on their phones, and this is their encounter. As they search through the darkness of their rural farm, they can hear some eerie noises in the distance. You can hear it. They can only see a few feet in front of them with a dimly lit torch. Eventually, they find a barn with graffiti scrawled across the walls. Something inside lets out a guttural squeal similar to a wild boar. It's a chilling groan, enough to make your blood run cold. The 2 boys hide for a few seconds, switching off their torches. You can hear something scratching about behind the wall. For some crazy reason, the boys decide to take a look. Inside the barn, they spot a humanoid creature lurking in the loft. It has a strange pale face with small eyes and a wide nose and bald head. It shrieks at them as they frantically run into the darkness of the night. What could this cryptid creature be? Some are calling it a demon, while others are saying it's an alien hybrid that's taken refuge in the abandoned barn. Could this be some kind of animal that somehow evaded human contact until now? Several years ago, a bizarre event was captured on film in southern Vermont in the United States, several miles north of Green Mountain National Forest. It's a fairly remote area where several locals reported sightings of a strange creature with long limbs. Residents were finding livestock dead in their backyards with puncture wounds on their necks. Chickens and other animals were also vanishing without a trace. Eventually, this footage surfaced when 2 kids said they had an encounter with an alien in a local park. They claimed they were heading home from a party when they heard some strange noises. They took out their phones, and this is the footage they captured. From behind a tree, a bizarre long-limbed creature begins to walk across the grass. It has a bulbous black head and slim body. The figure's hind legs look like that of a human, but most strikingly it uses 2 front arms to stalk eerily through the park. Initially, the footage was met with skepticism, but the boys are adamant that the footage is genuine and hasn't been tampered with in any way. This clip, coupled with the reports of dead livestock, sure do make for a chilling conclusion. Could an alien creature really be living in the hills of southern Vermont? In April 2018, a giant creature was photographed stalking the streets of Santa Fe, Argentina. The mysterious cryptid had been on a killing spree after it allegedly mauled 2 dogs to death. It's thought that a local resident took this photo after they heard a disturbance down an alleyway. The animal looks too tall to be a dog. Its gaunt frame sits atop 4 long, thin legs, with its hind legs looking to be a little meatier than the front 2. The beast appears to be hairless, with hooves and a dog-like face. It was reported that this creature had killed a pit bull and German shepherd in a violent rage. When the image did the inevitable social media rounds, many were quick to call this creature a chupacabra, a mythical creature from South American folklore that is said to suck the blood from livestock. Others said it was a werewolf or a human-demon hybrid, warning locals to be very careful. Could a bloodthirsty cryptid creature really be roaming the streets of Santa Fe? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. In Carbondale, Pennsylvania, locals have reported sightings of a strange creature lurking in the woods. They say it's a white Bigfoot, 6 to 7 feet tall with shaggy fur covering its entire body. Residents often hear strange noises too, low groans and rustling in trees. In 2008, this video surfaced and quickly went viral. It was filmed by a man who heard noises coming from his yard that backs onto woodland. In the clip, you can see a very strange looking creature. It pauses for a split second, then darts off into the darkness. It has deep black eyes, a long cone-shaped head, and is covered in white fur. Analysts have noted that this would be very difficult to fake. The figure is unusually tall and has gigantic proportions. It moves quickly despite its large frame, and the face contorts and reacts, which couldn't happen if it was simply a mask. It's worth noting that Carbondale is the site for the first underground mine in the US. It's a vast network of deep, dark tunnels. Many believe it's possible that this creature lives deep in the mines and only surfaces to go hunting. The rake is a terrifying creature that began getting media attention in a flurry of news reports in 2003. Dozens of news outlets broke stories about a beast of unknown origin with long limbs, sharp claws, and a propensity for unprovoked violence. In this video, taken in an undisclosed location in England, a young man is walking through a playground at night testing the infrared feature on his new camera. As he walks along, he spots a mysterious figure sitting on top of the playground slide. The creature turns, startled, eyes lit up. Whatever it is leaps from the top of the structure into darkness. Suddenly the swings behind the man rattle and the footage turns to black. Could this be the infamous monster from urban folklore? The rake has become so popular in recent years that it spawned creepypasta stories, fan-made videos, and even feature-length films. Many think the creature's origins are simply a work of fiction and always have been, but it's sightings like this that seem to give credence to the thought that this terrifying creature may actually exist in real life. Before we get to that number 1 spot and take a look at some unsettling footage of a humanoid creature on a farm in Eastern Europe, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be fully up to date with all our latest creepy content. This is some unsettling footage purported to be filmed in a remote Romanian zoo. In 2014, it's thought that a backpacker who was travelling through rural Romania found out about a secretive farm that is run by illegal traffickers. The heavily guarded property allegedly houses exhibits that the general public don't know about or don't want to know about. Somehow, the backpacker managed to smuggle a camcorder onto the property to film one of the exhibits. The footage begins with the backpacker explaining that the zoo is housing some sort of deformed animal caged up in one of the sheds. Things go black as he makes his way through a crowd of people. They're all gathered around a cell sealed off with thick steel bars. You can hear the crowd ogling at something. Finally, a gap appears between the two people and we get a glimpse of some kind of humanoid creature. It moans wildly as it stumbles forward. Someone yells. The crowd heaves backward in horror as the creature is fully revealed. It looks to be a deformed monster, disfigured and kept against its will. The footage cuts to black and we're left wondering what we've just witnessed. No one has been able to explain this footage. A lot of people hope the video is fake, but there's a realness to it that makes for a really unsettling experience. Are there really underground zoos in Eastern Europe that house unfathomable creatures like this? Love to hear your opinion in the comments section below.
Well, there's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, slap that upward facing thumb, or leave us a comment down below. We love reading them. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew!
Slap. 5 mysterious real-life X-Files. From people claiming to live in countries that don't exist to mysterious ghostly car crashes. Join us as we investigate 5 unexplained real-life X-Files. Number 5. The Mysterious Man from Taured. In July 1954, a plane landed at Haneda Airport in Japan. As the passengers made their way through immigration, a man was questioned by officials. The man, who was European in appearance, claimed to be visiting Japan on business, and that it was his 3rd trip to the country in less than a year. When asked where he was from, the man said he was a resident of a country called Taured. After much deliberation, the officials showed the man a map of the world. The man pointed to Andorra, claiming that that was the location of the mysterious country Taured. Frustrated, he began questioning the officials about the validity of their map, believing it to be some kind of joke. The man had in his possession several different European currencies along with extensive employment documentation. His passport was issued by Taured and had several stamps already in it, including some from previous visits to Japan. Confused, the officials rang the man's supposed employer. They had no knowledge of the man ever working for them. The man was taken to a nearby hotel where he was placed under guard until the matter could be resolved. When the officials returned to further question the man, he had mysteriously vanished along with all his belongings. Number 4. Time-traveling Rudolph Fentz. In 1950, a man around the age of 30 was reported to have suddenly appeared in Times Square, then get hit by a car and die. Witnesses claim that the man looked startled and confused just prior to the accident. The unknown man reportedly had large mutton chop sideburns and was wearing 19th century clothing. Officials at the morgue examined the body and found in his possession a copper beer token, a bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage, and a letter from Philadelphia dated June 1876 addressed to one Rudolph Fentz. The investigating officer began a search to identify the man. Contacting the bank, the investigator was told that Fentz died 5 years prior, but that his wife was still alive living in Florida. The investigator contacted the woman and, after hearing the inspector's unusual story, informed him that her husband's father had mysteriously disappeared in 1876 after not returning from his evening walk. He was 29 years of age. In 2000, researcher Chris Orbeck concluded that the story was fabricated and that it was based on a fictional story that was published around the same time. In 2002, a pastor by the name of George Murphy claimed that the Fentz account was based on a short story by science fiction writer Jack Finney entitled I'm Scared. However, in 2007, a researcher working in the Berlin News Archive claimed to have found an article about Rudolph Fentz, written 5 months before the short story was even published. The article is said to detail Fentz's story just as it was reported in 1950. Number 3. The Pollock Twins. On the 5th of May 1957 in Hexham, UK, Jacqueline and Joanna, daughters of John and Florence Pollock, were tragically hit by a car and killed on their way to church. 1 year later, the devastated couple moved away from the small town and gave birth to twin girls, Jennifer and Gillian. Soon after the birth, John noticed that Jennifer had a white mark across her forehead that mirrored a scar his deceased daughter Jacqueline used to have. He also noticed that Jennifer had a birthmark on her leg identical to Jacqueline's. When the girls were 4, their parents brought them back to Hexham to visit old friends. The twin girls immediately began recognizing places in the town, even though they had never been there before. Confused, John and Florence decided to show the young twins several toys that used to belong to their deceased siblings. Incredibly, the twins recognized and named every single toy. Even more bizarre was the twins' ability to recount in detail the events leading up to their sisters' deaths. The unexplained behavior continued until the girls were 5 and then completely stopped. Number 2. The Ghostly Hands of Dartmoor. In the 1920s, a series of fatal accidents occurred along a stretch of road in Postbridge, Dartmoor, UK. One evening an accident occurred, but this time a man managed to survive. The man woke up in hospital visibly shaken. He told investigators that as he approached the accident-prone area, he suddenly felt a pair of rough, hairy hands grab and wrench at the steering wheel, causing him to swerve off the road. Several other crash survivors told eerily similar tales. Another account involved a couple who claimed a ghostly hand attacked them while camping near the area. The couple reported that the hand disappeared when the woman used her fingers to make the sign of the cross. Number 1. The Westall UFO Mystery. The following account is said by many to be some of the most...
Oh, thanks, mate. Bloody ripper.
compelling evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials. At 11 AM on Wednesday the 6th of April 1966, more than 200 students and staff from Westall High School and Westall State School in Victoria, Australia, claimed to have witnessed a grey saucer-shaped craft land in a nearby field. The craft, described as about the size of 2 family cars and glowing purple, reportedly descended behind a line of trees where it remained for about 20 minutes. It is said that the object then climbed at great speed and departed in a northwest direction. Several newspapers covered the story, including the Dandenong Journal, which ran 2 separate front-page articles on the unexplained events. GTV Channel 9 television ran a news report of the strange encounter in which a student, Joy Teague, described the object in detail. Sometime after, the footage went missing. Channel 9 reported that the footage was removed from their archive and was never returned. On April 8, 2006, a witness reunion was held at the Westall Tennis Club to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the mysterious incident. What in the blazes? That's some spooky ass stuff right there. Has anything strange happened to you? Tell us your paranormal stories in the comments section below. But as always, thanks heaps for watching. Remember to share this around on Facebook and Twitter. If you really want to help us out, click that thumbs up button. That would be amazing. And this is the Slap Time signing off.